Hi, welcome to another episode of A Well-Designed Business. Today is December 27th, 2017, if you're listening in real time. And you are aware by now that I'm doing some replays from shows over the last 2 years. And I've picked a little theme. I've settled on a theme of some of the shows that stood out in my mind to being ones that help you literally with hardcore advice on how to fill your pipeline. Okay. So I thought, you know what? It's sort of like a little, punch in the arm for this last week of the new year, so that maybe if you have the opportunity over the holidays to listen to these shows, you might come away a little inspired with some ideas. Not that you're going to sit down and do them now, eat, drink, enjoy, rest, relax, regroup. But this way, when you come back after the new year, you might have a little to-do list for yourself. So if you are a residential interior designer, Monday's show was with Andrea Schumacher on Christmas Day, a replay of her show. And she shared a lot of really good hardcore advice on how she grew her residential interior design firm. Today's show is with Judi Kieffer, and Judi shared some very actionable advice on the way she grew her hospitality commercial firm from the beginning when it was just her. And she really goes through at least a half a dozen tips on how to do this. And the other thing is that you'll notice in the show that I say to you, if you want the things I learned from Judi, that link is broken, the one that I mentioned in the show. But you will find the things I learned from Judi Kieffer at this new link. It's a live link. It is www.luannigara.com/Judik, Judik. Okay. And what it is it's some resources on the interior design business, on how to do the business end of it that she shared, and also some resources for green and sustainable design. So don't miss that free PDF if you want it. Okay. Alrighty. The rest of the show will air as it originally did. And so, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you got a pen and paper ready, because you're going to need it. Alrighty. Have an excellent day.
Welcome to A Well-Designed Business with your host, Luann Nigara. Luann has a lifetime of experience building a multi-million-dollar business with her husband and cousin, and she knows the challenges you face in your interior design business. Luann brings you real-life answers to your most pressing problems, as well as practical strategies to explode your interior design business. So, let's get to the business of interior design.
Hi, welcome to another episode of A Well-Designed Business. On the show today, I have Judi Kieffer, and I'm pretty sure you're going to love this conversation as much as I did. We had a great time. Judi has over 24 years experience in the hospitality, luxury residential, and restaurant design field, and consequently, she has a portfolio full of top-tier projects and a large group of satisfied clients. Today, she shares so much advice on how she built this firm, how she manages it, and her advice for keeping it all together. Judi is an advocate for both personal and professional development. She has staffed life success courses with PSI seminars, and she is actively involved in brainstorming groups for sustainable products and developments, as well as like-minded entrepreneurs. She participates in several local philanthropic and civic groups. She is a mentor for women's and children's organization, and was recently appointed as a spokesperson for the American Society of Interior Designers. She has completed the Sustainable Building Advisors course, and she is a certified Green Globe auditor. Judi's passions are yoga, fine wine, riding her horses, hikes in the mountains, and inspiring other interior designers just like you to run more profitable, enjoyable businesses. So stay here for a second while I tell you a little bit about our sponsor, and I'll be right back with Judi. My great thanks to my Domus Studio, our podcast sponsor. What is my Domus Studio? Well, you know, as busy interior designers, that running your own design firm isn't just about designing. That's what we talk about here all the time, right? There's managing contracts, clients, payments, products, and a million other things that you have to have locked down. It is challenging, but you must run your firm efficiently so you can do the fun, creative things you enjoy so much. And that's where my Domus Studio comes in. I'd like to invite you to try My Domus Studio today. Go to mydomusstudio.com/a-well-designed-business. Designers around the world are using My Domus Studio. What about you? Let My Domus Studio help you organize the business side and spend more time on the designing side of your firm. I'd also like to share with you that Vin, Bill, and myself are so impressed with My Domus Studio that we have invested in this company. So see for yourself what My Domus Studio can do for your interior design business. And if you visit using the link mydomusstudio.com/a-well-designed-business, you will receive a special offer just for you as listeners of the podcast. Hi, Judi. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, Luann. Thank you so much for having me. This is very exciting.
Yes, so we have a lot to chat about today. You have a pretty big design firm there in Boise, Idaho. And
yes,
I was looking at your website. You have yourself, 2 designers, an account manager, a procurement specialist, an office library manager. I would love to have one of those. I can just tell you that right now.
It's nice.
You know, an intern, and of course you have your mascot, Missy,
yes.
right?
Yes, very important element to our firm.
That's it. How many years are you guys in business there?
It has been 27 years now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
Wonderful, exciting roller coaster years. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So that's good because that means I'm going to get a lot of juicy tidbits of information out of you today.
That is the plan. We'll be willing to share, yes.
That's it. All right. So let's see. Let's start sort of at the beginning in just a few minutes. I by beginning, I don't mean when you move the furniture around in your bedroom when you're a little girl. Please don't tell me that.
Nope.
I mean the beginning of your career. Did you work for other people before you opened your own firm, Judi, or did you come right out of school and work in your own firm?
No, I definitely did come in. When I moved to Boise, I started working for a couple companies, one at a time, of course, but I had worked for 3 different companies and departed each time, not necessarily by choice, but some things happened with their firm. And so I worked for a commercial design firm. He went and then opened his own, or went to work for someone in the hospitality industry. And the other one was a healthcare firm, and I got some great experience with them as well as marketing. And then they closed up their firm. And then I took a contract position with another designer friend of mine that was working for an architect that got me really excited about not only just the commercial side. He does high-end residential and commercial, but he remodels resorts. So I got my first taste of hospitality, which is our specialty now. And that was great. And after about 6 months of that, he said, you really need to open your own firm. And I said, oh, no, I'll work for somebody for 5 years. No, I don't want to do that. And lo and behold, he pushed me into a little office and said, this is it. Start it and we'll get you support. And it was awesome. And then history from there. So
Isn't that
great.
Something? Okay.
It was great.
So it seems to me, I first of all, it just seems to me in general that it benefits any designer having spent some time in others' firms for whatever period of time, even if it's as little as 6 months, for crying out loud, right? But if it seems like to me that as much as that benefits, in my opinion, everyone, commercial design, I'm learning, is a little bit of a different animal in hospitality design in that I feel like the systems that happen there aren't really so easily, hey, let me just wing this and figure it out as I go. What do you think about that?
Oh, I fully agree. I have not only an interior design degree, but some business degree as well. And I knew at some point I would probably mesh the two together. And I really think that that's vital for interior designers who want to have a company to have business experience and courses, classes, anything you can take to get you more in the know about the accounting side, the marketing side, the presentations, communication. So many designers graduate and they're really taught a lot of interior design and all the phases of design, and that is great. But then what do you do when you have to create a budget? What do you do when you have to go out and market and make a presentation and communicate? It's really great to have that kind of experience. So the more you can have various kinds of job positions that encompass the entire gamut, that is really great. And then if you want to go and open your own company, then that's wonderful. You have at least that foundation. So I think it's vital.
Right. So, okay. So now tell me about when this person pushed you out of the nest and encouraged you to make your own firm. Were you a solo? Did you start out with somebody? Like so many designers are starting out as a solo working out of their home. How was it for you?
It was solo for sure. And the nice thing is that I got an opportunity to be in the inside of the architect's firm. It was a very small company. It was probably 1,000 square feet. So I had this little 8x8 office, right? And it was great. He just said, I'm not using this. It's kind of a library. Go ahead and just start. So I put a desk and everything in there and a phone and library some items in the bookshelves. And I just started making phone calls from there and connecting up with architects. And that was my first go at it. But I wasn't in my home. I definitely started outside of my home. I knew that it was important for me to make my business life and my home life separate. And I liked the professionalism of that and offering a place for clients to come and me to go out and have an address that's away from my home. For me, that was important. I wasn't specializing in residential. I really was specializing in commercial and hospitality, so it made more sense for me.
Felt different for you.
Yeah, it was great.
I can see that. And so tell me a little bit about, it's funny because there's a show going up that's not live as the time that we're recording this with Leanne Krasno, who is a principal of the Design High. And we did talk a lot about a commercial interior design on that show, but it's interesting because I've had requests for it in the last 2 or 3, 4 weeks for more conversation about it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it's sort of interesting. So tell me a little bit, and we didn't discuss this aspect of it with Leanne, so tell me a little bit about what it's like to be a brand new interior designer, your own firm, you've got yourself set up in that office space, you're calling on architects for business, and to build that business. What did you really do? I mean, people say, oh, and they kind of gloss over, but if you can really, really tell us.
Sure. Okay, so my typical day was something like I would go through the phone book. At that time, it was a phone book. and
we're dating ourselves.
I know. That's okay, though. It's reality.
Exactly.
Looking at all of the addresses and phone numbers for all the architects, and I would just copy them off and start calling every one of them. And I would cold call. And I had no problem cold calling because I thought it was exciting just to meet and greet and talk to them all and tell them that I'm here. I've opened my company. And here's what I've done. And here's what I'm aiming to do. Do you have any work at all that you would be interested in talking to me about? And so forth. So then I would set appointments up and go beat the streets, basically. Took my school portfolio, also some things that I had been working on in the past, 2 years that I had worked with somebody. So then from there, I would send out letters and do mailings. So I did little mailings. So everybody likes to get a little hand, something to touch and feel. And then I would just start working on little projects. And reality was, there was just a couple little projects. It was great. But then as I kept doing a couple more and really making sure I focused in tightly on those jobs and did the best job I could and not just try to get a lot of projects, I got referrals. And then I would just get references and a letter of reference. And from there, you kind of build your marketing up a little bit. And it was a little easier to talk to others about that. And I always asked for referrals at the end. So if they knew of anybody that needed something done or that I could call. So that kind of helped a lot like that. Besides the everyday of trying to build the library, that was a whole nother thing. Finding vendors. I was a member of ASID at the time, and I still am now. And to go and get a list of all kinds of vendors and people you can, talk to and reps, and building that part of the business up was important. So staying connected in that way. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to those cold calls for a minute, though. I love cold calls. I did the same thing in our business, by the way, is how I built the designer half of our business, the trade half of our business. Same thing, by the way, the yellow pages. So tell me a little bit about, if you can remember, when you would call on that architect. So I'm putting yourself in the place that here you are, your only portfolio for the most part is one or two projects that you worked on with the position that you had, your school portfolio. It's not like you have your own company portfolio. What is it that the architect needs from you at that point? So if somebody is listening and they're like, oh, okay, I could go to Google now for architects. What is it that architect needs from the commercial designer? What do you say so the architect actually listens on the phone call as opposed to, no, sweetie, I have this covered, bye, see ya?
Okay, so do you mean more of back then? What did it look like? Because it's different than it is today when I call one.
Oh, no, then go for today. Okay. So if somebody listening today, thank you.
For today, when I'm calling on an architect or let's say, building owner or building manager or hotel owner, sometimes it's not always the architect. So I'm just going to use this in a general term of a cold call. Does that work for you? Okay.
Yes. But can we imagine that you're not a 27-year experienced firm making the cold call? Somewhere get us in the middle of reality and
so exactly. So I'm pretending like I'm new, but in today's world.
Okay, good.
Okay. Knowing that so commercial design, I'm a newbie, kind of looking at projects that I really want to get involved in or ask for, any opening for interior design for a project. And I would say, I would love to be able to come and talk to you in regards to what that project looks like. Let's discuss the plans and just see if there's a fit there. I'll bring any of my past experience with me, my projects that I've have, and let's just meet. And so I can hear what you have to say about the job. So it's more of that today, coming into saying, I want to be a team member on your team, and can we just discuss how we could fit our services into this project so that your work is and the whole project is a real success because there's team players that everybody's got a nice little niche that are fitting together so that all the cogs in the wheel are just moving together perfectly. And so a lot of times they're like, yeah, absolutely, come by or yeah, fly over or whatever. Or we'll just have a call on the phone and we'll discuss. There's so many things you can send right now. Offering Revit and drawings, so I'd say it's not all hand sketching anymore. But if you're capable of having AutoCAD, Revit, SketchUp, 3D modeling, everybody's expecting that these days. If you don't do it, you can easily get somebody to do it, and you can still call them part of your team, whether you're hiring them or not. And you can offer that so that you are filling all of the phases and all of the aspects of what is really going to be needed in a commercial project.
Okay. Yeah. So what we're saying is that architects, smaller firms, obviously, that don't have in-house interior design, an architect out there or a builder out there is in need of the design arm services, and you've just got to, hit the right one who has that need and be able to express how you can make his or her life easier.
Absolutely. And the project's success because, it's not just, sometimes they just need a decorator that doesn't really have all of the extra schooling that designers have. Sometimes you just got to figure out by asking the right questions, what does the project or the architect really need? And how can you not step on their toes, but offer so that they look good and the project looks good and so do you. So listening and offering that way. Yeah.
And you mentioned sometimes cold calling on hotels, actually.
Yeah.
Who the heck do you even contact?
I know. Well, we have a lot of sources and this can go across the board. So I'll talk generally in regards to our specialty industry, but you can get this for buildings as well if you just want to do commercial design or hospitals or something else, but multifamily. But if you, for example, for us, we have hotel project leads. You can get them on, you can sign up for them online. We're a preferred designer with Hilton, so a lot of times we get these lists from them that just says, this is all the jobs, projects that are coming up, what phase they're in, and you just start calling. Sometimes they're they are hotel owners. Sometimes they are the management company that is the rep for the owner. So you know how to address it correctly. So there's lots of avenues to get leads.
So these are like directories. So is there a directory of directories?
That's a good point.
I mean, how does somebody find out? Like,
well,
does ASID help you with this? Do they have these things? Like, maybe we don't have to reinvent the wheel and figure out where these are. I don't know. Is that part of what, a designer who wants to access information like this could go to ASID and ask what these directories are?
That's a good possibility. I think IIDA offers something of that nature.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called, but I know that I could get onto that website and find it there.
Okay, so they probably have it.
If you easily Google search, quite honestly, commercial buildings being built in 2017 or something like that, or project leads for commercial buildings, or I just said hospitality leads for hotels.
Okay.
And there was like 5 companies I could buy leads from, or a monthly subscription. And you just got to set some time aside every month or every week and just do it, because otherwise, it could be $80 down the drain or $15 or whatever it might be.
Okay.
So it's very valuable, because these people this is what they do all day long, to sift through these leads. And I will tell you, they're not all perfect. You have to do a little investigation on your side, but there's a lot there.
Interesting.
BOMA is a really good one, Building Owners and Managers Association. Being involved in associations that have all of these people, these managers and building owners there in the room, and you're an associate in that room, you got great direct contact. So that makes it fun too.
Nice.
Associations, NEWH is a really good one for hospitality and restaurant. American Lodging and Hotel Association. But then there's lots for golf courses, for restaurants, and oh my gosh, the list goes on.
That's okay. So that's really awesome. So you really can, sift through a lot of these, and I understanding they're paid subscription, probably it sounds like, and you just figure out what your budget allows and where you're at, and like you said, don't pay for it and then walk away and not do it. Okay, right. I like that. All right, I like that a lot. One last thing I want to add to that too, that doesn't cost anything. In your hometown or any town, you can go onto the website of a town, Boise City Hall in the Planning and Zoning Department, and get free top sheets, which are lists of all the activities that are going, of all the buildings that are happening, whether the building new or renovating or adding on, and you can read what they want to do, and they'll have the name of the person right there that is the person that is asking for a permit, and you can call and track anything. So that's also awesome and free. So that's terrific too. Yeah. So because depending on the size of your town or the size of the project in the town, it really could be just the owner builder doing a project, and he or she would be thrilled to just have somebody because he's, not maybe this big, huge mechanism that is going to, have all of that all within his organization or set up and so forth. And then what happens is I would imagine that this process, when you did it in the beginning, you probably developed some relationships. I wouldn't be surprised that lasts to this day, where you hooked up with an architect or a builder, right? Oh, yes, very much so. Many are just today. Yeah, matter of fact, we're working on a high school remodel right now with an architect firm that doesn't have, they don't have interior designers with them, but they're engineering and architecture, and we've been friends for 30 years. Yes, since I moved here, so it's been good. I love that. Yeah. And also too, because if you're starting out, and maybe you end up hooking up with another firm that's starting out, and you sort of grow up together in the business. That's right. I love it. That's right. I think that's awesome. Okay, so that's a lot of good leads. Thank you, Judi. You're welcome. Tell me some of the things that you took from some of those early positions positions when you're brand new in business and you've got your little system for cold calling, but were there other things, now you had a business background, you said, are there other things that you can say if you're starting your business now, do this system-wise or business-wise?
Oh my gosh, yes, there's a lot there. In a nutshell, from my positions that I had before, the nice thing that happened was not only was I able to work through some design, obviously, but also the marketing part was really cool. And then also purchasing was really great. So I got kind of in two positions, I was able to understand the design process with a commercial designer, understand marketing and how you kind of start cold calling and start that whole process, as well as ordering. Like how did, back then we just wrote out a purchase order and scanned it or whatever.
Forget
crazy.
Scanned it. We mailed it and then we faxed it.
It's funny how things, transpire. But it's really, really great. So we learned at least the process. There was a system there, which was really nice to be able to know. Now there's such great systems and software programs that really make your life a lot easier and business a lot more profitable. Do you want me to touch on any of those? Or?
Yes, please mention some of the softwares now that you use that would help others.
Okay, we have since we're in QuickBooks for the accounting perspective, and we used to do QuickBooks for also all of our purchase orders and bids and invoicing and so forth. Well, we've recently transferred into Studio Designer. It used to be called Studio Webware, and it is a specific program for design firms that you can do your invoicing, purchasing, spec sheets by clicks of a button, and everything shows up nicely on a page with the little image, the spec right there, the price that you're going to charge your client. Then it goes into purchase orders. When you want to choose, you click the items that you want to pick to purchase, and it generates these POs. And I mean, it is just so user friendly. It's awesome. And we're really loving it here. So it's making it a lot more streamlined.
Okay.
So we like that program a lot. We are keeping the QuickBooks right now for all of the accounting perspective. So we've got a nice system that goes between procurement and finance, and that flows. The other programs that we're using are, of course, the designer programs, which is Revit, 3D modeling, AutoCAD, SketchUp, Illustrator, Photoshop. And each one we use whenever we need it for a certain job. So we don't always use Revit. We don't always use AutoCAD. So you have to pick and choose what's important. And the nice thing about that, having those software options, is when you go to a client or an architect or whatever you're talking to, you can say, we have these programs and we could do this. Let me offer this to you. Let me suggest this because it'll make it easier for you. We can transfer all of our information through email or Dropbox. That's the other thing we use. Sharing files in Dropbox with clients and your other, consultants on a job. It's vital because we're moving so fast anymore these days that having this information readily available is it's a lot more fun because it's cleaner and but it's a lot, you can just get a lot more done. And I've also found, I'll add this, you can work anywhere in the world.
Yes, yeah.
And you don't have
that's
to
the good and the
fly
bad, though, Judi. I'm going to tell you.
I know it is.
I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah. So anyway, but
I do miss my vacations. I haven't had one in like 20 years since they invented all this crap.
Sad. Anyway, but you can be on the beach and you can be in the mountains or you can be in your cabin or whatever, and still have to work. Oh my gosh! But those are some things that we have found through the years that have really seemed to work, and that's where we are today. And we're still growing. We're gonna give up our main Dropbox for storing all of our files because there's so much now, and we're going to get our own server, and that should have been done a long time ago. But hey, this is a growing business. It is what it is, but you got to do what you got to do.
Okay.
So you don't want to lose stuff.
No, definitely. You need the backup systems, right?
Right.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about now let's go transition to, we're assuming our young designer out there has done all his cold calling, and they're well on their way, and they've got 2 or 3 employees. Yeah. So you have a bigger firm, as I mentioned at the top of the conversation. You have a couple of designers under you plus an intern. Tell me about running this design firm, some of the challenges that you face, right? Because it's different when you are responsible for other people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
I know.
This is something that is like one thing that I didn't really, if we're totally honest, I love my staff. I love what we're doing, but some days I do not want to be a manager. Please let me get out of here, because what happened to my design? Where am I? Everybody else gets to do the fun stuff now.
That's right. See, that's what we have to let them know out there.
The
further you go up the ladder, the less you do the fun stuff, right?
Yeah. So you got to be careful about how you want to grow your business and what do you want really at the end of the day it to be like. And keep that vision, and don't, kind of keep meditating on that, keep thinking about that, because I will tell you, it is something that I just keep moving forward. And suddenly I'm like, wait a minute. One day I'm waking up like, I just realized I have not been able to do what some of the things that I really like to do. It's not that's the negative. It's just that I'm noticing, and I got to notice and decide, is this perfect, or do I need now an office manager so that I can go back to overseeing design and having somebody else run this part of the HR? So that's something that's probably going to be my next step. But let's go back to, you've got 2 or 3, when I was a little smaller, was in that boat, 2 or 3 design, a designer and a library person and a bookkeeper and me. Okay. And the nice thing about that is that we'd had kind of a nice little circle. Everybody had one person in each little position, and it was a nice little balance. It wasn't always like that. Of course, I just started with the library and design assistant. Right. That was my very first employee, and from there it kind of grew. So making sure that you have systems in place, and meaning how you go about from day one getting a project and managing the entire project is important.
Thank you. I love that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Very important. And the reason is, and I'll tell you what, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I'll be honest. I'm that's just my personality, and somehow things just fall into place pretty good. Sometimes I will stub my toe, and then you learn, and that's okay. I'm good with that. But you got to be willing for that roller coaster. So just a year ago, did we have our office staff get together and had a full day training, and it was a strategic planning session, and we had a facilitator, and we went through, okay, from minute we get a job, what does that look like? And we started this little chart on a wall, and now we have this nice, beautiful graphic chart that tells us in each little bubble who's doing what and how each one interacts, and when things get signed off and handed off from design to procurement. And oh my gosh, without that, you hire the next employee, and pretty soon they're going to be like, I don't really know what to do, and how do I know if I'm doing the right thing? And then pretty soon you're spending half your day trying to figure things out and hashing out answers. It's
impossible. When you're growing and you're bigger, it's impossible to onboard more employees efficiently, because even when you have the systems, we have insane systems at WindowWorks. Teaching them the systems is a job. But if you just do it any old which way whenever you feel like it, it's like, how do you teach that? So no,
I learn, but it takes me a little bit, sometimes 2 or 3 times. I'll be honest. I'm not like the quick.
No, I would have been you. I would have been you.
But I could write a novel.
Everybody that listens to the show knows that I would have been you too if it weren't for my husband. He was a lunatic from the beginning, and I completely bucked it all the time. I was like, whatever with that system. And now, literally 100 years later, I am as avid and as appreciative as he is. But I understand what you're saying, that if it's not your personality, it's sort of like, I got this, let's go. You know what I mean? But it has been one of my big missions to really express that to not just interior designers, but all business owners, because I think I appreciate it even more because it wasn't my nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really, because it was
Yeah.
almost like I went kicking and screaming down this road. And then when I finally got there, I was like, wow, it's so much easier this way.
Yeah, and it really helps when you have a team of a staff that is like getting excited, like, that's what we want. We want systems. We want something.
That's right.
I'm like, wow, I didn't know I gotta, and I hired that kind of person. But and that's the other thing is, here's another suggestion is, I got a lot, so I'm trying to like write my notes as I'm talking. Is personality profiles.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a couple people that you're bringing on board, each time you do that, even if it's 2 or 3, you might consider having them fill out a little personality test, and it really is a helpful piece of information, because you really get to figure out where that person's going to thrive or not, or how to communicate with that person, because pretty soon your dynamics are really changing, and you're trying to figure out why in the world is all this semi-drama going on, or how do you come to the table with this information to this person this way because they'll get it that way, but this other person you might need to maybe communicate this way, and then listen and think about what it sounds like to the other person. So it's really, I think, besides just in the office, in all of your friends and family, it's kind of a nice thing to know. But if you're, if you do something like this within your company, it really helps everybody understand where everybody's at. That's kind of nice.
I like that too. I agree with that.
Good.
I actually reach out to my cousin Eileen very often when I have situations, because she is an expert in this, in organizational behaviors and so forth. And so I'll just call up. I'm like, the kids aren't playing in the sandbox well. Like, what the heck? Like, oh my God. And the thing is, it's almost every time comes down to a scenario like that, where it's just a matter of the way a particular personality perceives information, receives information, and gives information. And it might just at that moment be in contrast with someone else's. And so there's not anything wrong with one or the other of your employees, but they're not feeling respected and heard by each other, and they're not even intending that for to be, one's looking at me going, well, I don't know what the problem is because I just this, that, and the other, and one's like, well, I know what the problem is, because I'm like, well, I don't know what the problem is either, but they're driving me to drink here. You know what I'm saying?
Figure it out.
Exactly. So I always go to her. And then what happens with my cousin is, it's interesting that you say take the personality test, because she'll say, well, tell me the first 4 or 5 things that you think of when you think of this person, and what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses. And then like in a second she'll go, oh, well, that's such and such personality, or that's a such and such perceiver. And I'm like, really?
Right. Yes.
So what do you use a specific test that you have given? Which one?
Strength finders.
Say it again.
Strength finders.
Strength finders. Okay. Awesome.
Yep. And there's a great book for it, and it's like a manual, and then they have a leadership manual and how to read the manual, and then so there's like 4 or 5 books that the author has written. I can't remember the author off the top of my head, but it's out there, and
I'll
Amazon
put it in the
sells
show
them all.
notes. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. So I love that. So there's a little manual for you as the boss to sort of know what the heck to do with this information.
Yeah.
Because you can't call Eileen like I can.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's many books I could rattle off now as we're talking about systems, or what's really great to help you out along the way that are for interior designers. So
I would be
Yeah.
curious to hear some of those,
Okay.
Judy.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you now what I was kind of, okay, let me tell you about some. There's some of them I have had since day one, which has been crazy, but one was written in 1988, and believe it or not, it looks old, but the content is still great. So Interior Designer's Business Handbook by, last name Knackstead, Knaksted. Really awesome.
Yes.
She also wrote Marketing and Selling Design Services as another great one. She has forms in there, talks about different things. I'd love it if she would just update and get a new,
I wondered about that, because I came across her, and I came across her when I was first started the podcast and researching, and of course her books come up, and I had that thought that I not that I wondered if it was quality information. I could really tell that she was a very bright woman and that the information was in depth, but I wondered if it was relevant to 2016, 17?
Well,
because,
yeah.
do you just, is it simple enough to just retake, phone out for Google, or what do you?
Yeah, if you were to get one of those books and just look through it, and you could probably go to the library and get it out if you didn't want to buy a used one on Amazon. But the thing about it, what she writes is, the perspective is still there,
Right,
like how
okay.
to go get work and the systems to do, and you might take the form
It's just the
that she has
technology and the
change it.
different ways
Yeah, it's
to
all new
implement it.
now.
Right. Okay.
Sure. And
But
so,
she's got
that's
good,
just
solid
two.
business
Yeah,
principles.
yeah, absolutely. The Guide to Principles and Practices for Interior Designers by Harry Siegel, and Value Pricing for Interior Design Firms for your pricing structure by Stasiowski, Stasiowski.
Okay.
So those are great, but there's a ton more, and those are just some that I just like having, and they're wonderful. But boy, there's yeah.
That's
There's a
terrific.
lot.
I
But anyway,
appreciate
yeah,
those.
those are fun.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
good
those recommendations. That's
Sure.
terrific. Okay.
I think
So
anybody
now tell me a little bit about, do you have any sort of particular, system that relates to your daily to run this firm, as far as for like your own personal practices as the principal of the firm, and the way you run your day or the way you look at things in order to be productive?
I honestly, I really don't.
Okay.
But I'll tell you the system that I have that works for me, and I'm going to try to put something down with everybody else doing their parts of the system, SOPs in place for the company on what they all do. Well, I need to have one for me, because at some point, if I transition somebody else to take this over, or for me just, I don't know, I love what I do every day. I can't imagine not doing that, but it's still really going to be helpful for me to put that together. But I have a journal. I set this journal out every single day, and I've kept everyone from day one, which is kind of interesting. But I'll keep this little book out, and I'll write everything in at my to-do list. I'm a list taker, like an analyst, and I got to have my list. So I just list it out every single morning. Got to get my brain down on paper. What are the most important things today? And I'll highlight the first ones, and then I'll highlight them in a different color of the secondary ones. So if I get done with everything first, I'll go back to the second one. There's been all kinds of products out there that a lot of salespeople use like this. And I remember what they look like, and I can't remember the name, but anyway, they're kind of these little tip cards, that you use, and they're like first, second, and third. I don't know. I don't want to get so anal like that, but anyway, I kind of do my thing, and then I'll just can always go back to my journal, and 5 pages later, or 2 weeks ago, and go, oh, there's that phone number, or whatever. So it's just a little basic thing. And then I've got a nice calendar. I'm on Outlook. Everybody's on Outlook here. And so I like making my calendar look pretty, and I stick everything on there and put, dates on there, and then ting it and so forth, and alarms. And I got to have alarms. If I don't have alarms all day, I'm losing it. So everybody's going to do probably something similar to that. But I try to keep my desk organized piles, but I'm not one to clear my desk. I would love to.
Right.
I've got a designer who does it every day, and I'm like so proud. It's
I know.
Wow. If
both
I
the
could
girls
do
that work for me clear their
How do you
desk
do
every
that?
day too, and I just look at them like, "Are you? Oh my God! I just it would take me an hour to clear it. I could keep working that whole time."
I know. See, that's the point. I got to be productive. I got to keep going. Anyway, thank you. Yeah, that's kind of my system.
I actually
lame,
like
but it
that
is.
little journaling system.
It's really
What I
fun.
like about it is because a lot of us make a to-do list, and it's on a piece of paper. And I have actually, for the podcast when I'm here, I have it on a little whiteboard. But I like the record of it. That's sort of interesting. I like that. It's something that you could go back and even just, one day when we are sitting on a beach and we're done with all this nonsense, right?
Yeah, you look back. I've got my shelf that's about 8 feet long. That's all filled with these little binders.
That's pretty cool. I might have to
yeah.
do that, Judi. I
That's
think
pretty
I kind of
great.
like that.
Fun. They're all different, and it's great. Reps will give you free binders and little like spiral notebooks all day long.
Right.
Tricus is really good at that, by the way. Wall covering Tricus, you got to get their wall covering books.
Okay.
They're awesome. Anyway. But yeah, you can go to anywhere and get them. So anyway, that's kind of what we do. Yeah.
I like that. And then how about, let's talk about your particular firm for a little bit. What's your superpower at your firm? You talked about you do the hospitality and that you like that now, but is that what you're most known for, or do you do residential too? I mean, what's your mix about? What is the mix of what you do in your products and your design styles there?
Yeah. So I'd say, superpower, I was kind of thinking about that as you were saying that in a couple different ways, because for a company, our force and knowledge and experience and passion is hospitality design. And that encompasses several things: restaurant, country clubs, and hospitality hotels. And I started that long ago, and I loved that, and I just knew there was a passion, and there was a reason for that, because I just and everybody else here they've joined us because of that reason. But it's creating this experience that people will go into and change a couple things. It'll change their perspective when they go in, and it's like, wow, this is really cool, this is really exciting, and it just fits their mood and their day, and you can just intrigue someone and change their mindset to something more fun if it's entertainment, or more calming if it's a spa or whatever. So it influences people's lives. The other part of it, though, is makes you still feel at home and welcome. It's a marketing tool all by itself for the owner of that company. So I always look at the interior as a marketing tool. There's areas to be able to increase the ROI, or return on the investment, for a building owner or hotelier. They always want to know about that. If there's a little money up front, the value, of it in the end is going to really pay off. So I look at it from a business standpoint, and they like that. So you're bringing that to the table all the time. That's our superpower of doing that, besides just having a full service, because we not only do interior design, but then we also offer the procurement side. So they know that we're totally can take care of them from the very start to the very end of the post-occupancy review that we look at, and we are installing everything. So that's very exciting. They love that.
Is that because, are you describing is that because sometimes at that level of hospitality design, the hospitality designer firm will just go in, do the design, list all the products, and then that gets that goes off to somebody else to actually buy everything? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so there are a lot of FF&E procurement companies. That's all they do, is work with design firms or architects or owners on their property, and they will take all the specifications and all the information and just order and procure and carry through all the logistics and installation. Now, that's if a company isn't offering that. So, or if, because there are some designers that are like, I don't even want to mess with all the financial end of that. I mean,
they just want to get paid to do the design and walk away.
And that's it. Yep, that's it.
So that's an option as a listener out there that says, look, I love this whole thing, but I don't really want to do all the way through.
That's right. And they don't want to carry, credit, or they don't want to deal with all the financial end of it, because it could, I'll tell you this, when I started, I was not afraid of doing ordering, and I was looking into that, and I did some for just a little lobby, and it was great. And the client's like, well, how do I get a hold of this really cool, steel chair or Herman Miller, or whatever it might be? It's like, well, I can help you with that, and I'll get you the price, and I'll show you what the price is. So transparency is, I guess, let me back up. There's different ways to be able to work with clients, so I'll clear the slate on that one. But for us, we're totally transparent. We work with, this is our price, and we'll charge, a percentage or a flat fee, and we'll talk about that later. But I just like to be able to collect every bit of information, even if it's for 3 chairs. And the client's like, great, it just showed up, and oh my gosh, it looks so great, and you put it into place, and thank you. And then we start growing from there, and we get larger jobs. So,
but something to understand
is
if you're going to take on the purchasing, that you need to have some dollar bills, you need to have some kind of credit, and you need to be able to probably float some money from month to month.
Well, you can. And something I've learned along the way is this, a little smart piece of information.
Okay.
I had done that before. And sometimes, yes, I got burned. And it's not cool. And so vendors are even smarter these days. They will not send you product if you don't pay the 50% down at the end and pay for it 100%, and then they ship it to you. And if they're a good vendor, if there's a problem with it, they will stand behind their product. And yes, the claim will be filed and then we'll get it replaced and it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, real good vendors are just going to do that. And that's a normal MO today. It's just the way it is. So having credit means if you wanted to have credit with a company because they're going to give you further discounts for cash or something like that, that's a whole different realm. That's for you to decide if you want to do that. You still want to get client money. You still want to say, here's the deal. And this is what I do. Anybody can do it their way, but this is what I do. And I highly suggest this. The client sees value. Everybody's got blood in it.
Right.
Get a little blood in there. You want to order the product. Well, here's what it's going to be. 50% down. When it ships, the 50% needs to be paid. I will be the person to help fund this for you and pass it through, and you need to pay us and we pay the vendor. And it works out great. Everybody's in the know. They know when things are coming in, and we're their rep to help work this process. That's a whole nother fee.
I was going to say, but so you're charging what the product actually costs. So you have a separate fee somewhere else that covers all of that time and labor to do that.
Because these jobs are so large, and in hospitality it is very typical this way, either it will be on a percentage or a flat fee. And you have to really know the project to know what the scope is, so you're very clear on how much work it's going to take to do something.
Right.
It's kind of tough without knowing that. It's just like charging how you're going to charge fees for your design services. You can charge hourly, you can charge hourly not to exceed, you can charge a flat fee, you can charge flat fee with hourly added, you can do all kinds of things. But there's things you want to know along the way with each one of those that really helps you decide what to do to take care of your client and yourself. So, but yeah, if somebody out there wants to offer those services of full service in procurement and design, you just want to make sure that you're looking at each one as a separate entity and process them separately, but you can offer that as a package. It's nice.
Yes, and I would think that that's another way to create a niche for yourself, that you're somebody that does from a soup to nuts, but then you must be very organized. You cannot, be purchasing at that level and, not have your P's and Q's all in line.
Got it right.
Okay, awesome. So tell us a little bit about let's go completely on a different tangent. I want to ask you one question, and then we're going to go to a different tangent now.
Sure.
But if you were talking with a new designer and she had or he had no portfolio at this point in order to start marketing their services, whether it's on Facebook or, however else they're going to do it, what would you suggest to a designer so they have their school portfolio and, I don't know, that's it. What are you thinking there?
Okay. So let's just say they had just the portfolio from school. There's nothing wrong with that. And if that's where they start, you make your cold calls and you say, hey, I'd be a perfect person for this project because of these reasons. And you list them out and your passion will just show and you're excited about it and they're feeling your excitement. So you want to come to the table with, here's who I am. I'm marketing me and my company. I know I only have this portfolio, but this is what I did in that portfolio and I love it. But let's talk about your job and here's what I could do for you, and maybe you offer them a free consultation for an hour so that you can get to know the job. You can understand what's going on with it and the requirements. The nice thing about also doing that, you have enough knowledge then, hopefully asking the right questions, how to make your proposal so that you can provide that right and cover yourself and the job and offer that. And a lot of times when you're there and you're willing to step out and offer a little free time, they appreciate that and they're hearing what you're having to say walking through the job, or at least sitting there in front of plans and discussing. And probably 9 times out of 10, you're going to get something out of that.
Okay. So it really comes down to having some confidence.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is confidence and ask enough questions. This is a typical sales scenario, but ask enough questions, listen carefully to the answers to find out the problems that they need solved, and then you present solutions to those problems. Okay.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it a lot. It's awesome. So how about, here's what I need to do though, because I need to take just a 10-minute detour here because your company, I mentioned in the introduction, and we haven't talked about it at all on the program, but you are an eco-friendly product developer, and this is your thing. Like, you love to do things that are sustainable, and that's part of your whole forte. And I have to tell you, what's so interesting is there is a designer that's in a Facebook group book that I'm in, that not the day that this show is airing, but the day that we're interviewing, literally Lenora posted in the group today that she said, she's saying, I am familiar with Sustainable Furniture Council. Other than that, does anyone know an organization that supports this market? I'm also looking for vendors and brands that support this market, because Lenora is really learning that this is where her passion is, and that she really would love to specialize in interior design that talks to this market. Now, I don't think Lenora means commercial. I do think she's talking residential. And I just thought, isn't that just so coincidental that she posted that this morning and you and I are talking this afternoon? So do you have some advice for Lenora?
Yes, I do.
Yay.
If there's any type of organization that is close to your town, such as USGBC, I would highly suggest that you join that group. It's U.S. Building Council, and it talks, they have so many speakers, so many people who are architects, designers, building owners, anybody who's very interested in green building products and the like. So that's definitely something that I highly, encourage you to do. So join an organization like that.
Okay.
Go onto a website and start reading about that organization, and there'll be tons of links on that organization's website. The other one is the Green Standard, and it is called the Green Standard. And if you go on to Google, you can search it, and there's a bunch of information about being a green purchasing accredited professional. You can understand all of the ratings for products that you're purchasing, when the right product is really a green product or just a natural organic product or something like that, and how they can get their ratings. So I think it's a great organization. It's wonderful. So that kind of covers both commercial and residential. So it's, products. The other thing is, let me think, there was something else I was going to say. There's a sustainable building product show. There's a lot of shows going on. There are a lot of shows that they have. And I think there's one in San Francisco every year. I have not yet gone to it. I go to a lot of various other ones, but you can also go to, let's see, what else did I want to tell you? Let's see, what else are the ones? Now, I don't know if this has this organization is in another town, but there's called Greenworks Idaho, but I think there's greenworkscolorado.org. Okay. It's a magazine and a website on all kinds of green products, builders, insights, links to, books and all kinds of things like that.
That's a lot of resources right there.
Yeah. Well, I have even more. There's even more really wonderful books that I would highly recommend her to read and keep her hands on, because there's one called Women in Green. Oh. It is a really nice, fun read, and it's voices of sustainable design, and it covers the gamut of commercial and residential. It's really wonderful. The Philosophy of Sustainable Design, Green Home Primer, that's another book. There's another one I love reading. It's called Ecopreneuring.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. 75 green businesses, and they talk all about these different businesses and what they're doing. And I mean, the list goes on. There's so much there, but I highly recommend her to get in touch with me. Call me.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
And within all of these resources that you mentioned I'm going to make an assumption that that's where she'll also find the vendors and the brands that she can source for her projects, right? Because that's the whole point of these different organizations and these different resources, to collate that information for everybody.
Yeah, the greenstandard.org is probably going to be her best bet.
Okay.
I mean, that's really all about how they rate products.
Okay.
How they're rating products, and what the company does to be able to get a good global rating, and there's a whole bunch there. I don't even get on a tangent, but yeah. And again, if anybody wants to talk a little bit more in detail about it, I'm very happy to send some more information. But
thank you. Okay. So that's a great starting point. I mean, that is one of the other conversations that I had with Leanne, because she's also very committed to eco-friendly design and so forth. And she's involved in building usually 300, 400, 500 unit apartment buildings and things like that. And she said that, it's a tough go on the commercial end, she said, because sometimes it gets value engineered out, the different products, right? Yeah. So you experienced that too.
Yeah. Absolutely. But, I can tell you in the last 10 years, there has been so many companies, vendors, meaning, have been building products and finding better ways to make their product that is recycled or more green, if you will, like quote unquote, that it's not going to cost you any more to have a green product like that than it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago.
Right.
So it's a whole lot easier, and people appreciate it and what it's doing to the environment inside of the homes and businesses, the smell, the toxic rating. It's awesome. There's been a lot of really good, successful vendors out there that offer good pricing. So
it's funny that you talk about the smell and I guess it's called off gases and stuff. Yes. Yep. I was just had a customer on Monday in Manhattan on Park Avenue, and she had carpet installed, I think the previous Thursday or Wednesday. So it was 5 or 6 days. And she said that I could still smell the smell of the carpet, but she said for the first 2 days, she literally was ill from it, was ill from the smell. And she just looked at me. She's like, what am I going to do? And I said, I have no idea. I haven't opened the windows. I don't know.
Yeah, it takes a little while to dissipate, but it's true. I mean, the glues that go into the backing and the dyes that go into the yarn, it can be horrendous. And I love interface carpet for that and Tandis carpet for that. And the list goes on, but there's some really good products that do not have any off gassing, which is really neat. So,
okay. So that's great. So, and of course, like we were saying, it can be challenging in the commercial and because of cost factors and so forth on such a big scale. But for Lenora, who's thinking about doing it on a residential end, it's probably the sell of it to the client isn't going to be as difficult, because if she starts to market herself as an eco-friendly, a sustainable green designer, then she's going to attract the clients that if it costs $100 more than the other product, that's their thing. They want to be that way. So I think it's a great idea for her. I was so happy to see that she was thinking about this, especially because it's one thing any designer could do it, to learn it as a skill set and offer it as a marketing niche, whether you're passionate or not. But if you're passionate about it, it just makes it so much easier to do all that homework and figure it all out and learn that whole new curve. So that's awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing all those resources.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So I have just one or two last questions for you.
Okay. Sure.
You it's clear to me that you've run a really terrific business for all these years, and that you have a lot of things that I could ask you all over the map. But I'm just curious if you have, or you could think of, a piece of advice that you received during your career running your business that stays with you today, that you sort of hear in your head.
Yeah, there's a couple. Where do I start? Let's see. I would say be absolutely true to your passion. And I ask myself that every day. It's like, I'm excited to wake up. Yes. You want to go to work? Yes. And I know that what I have to deal with today. Oh my gosh. But stay true to your passion. And that was really a great piece of advice from a very good friend of mine. Just to completely live your passion, and also honor yourself, and allow yourself time to breathe and renew and refresh. And it's tough to do that, but that's another reason why I'm in yoga so much and meditation and go to my mountain cabin. It's like one of those things. So I just want to, I remember those. And it's not even necessarily specifically for the interior design industry, it's for anybody's life. Just it's a life lesson. And, you can do anything, but you got to stay balanced and grounded, as well as just, honoring yourself some time. So that to me is more important for my livelihood so that I can be really good at what I do during the day and be the best that I can be. So that's one kind of in a nutshell, but transparency and being really upfront with your clients and staying in communication is another thing. I don't like sugarcoating, and I know we've all done it, and I have sugarcoated a little bit for clients just because I know that this is not going to sound really good, but I think it's going to change tomorrow. So I'm just going to tell them what they have to hear today. Well, I won't do that anymore. I just do not do that anymore. It's just not going to help anybody. So we do the best we can and we lay it on the line and we just say, we're going to do everything we can and be the best we can be for you because we want you to succeed, client, and this is reality.
Right.
So,
right. And put your big girl panties on and just get over it. It's,
That's right.
I agree. Yeah. Because, it's like, there's no point in pretending today that the problem isn't there. My only thing is I like to go to, whether it's the designer or the retail client for Window Works, with the problem and my solution. So I might not make that call for a day or two while I scramble to find a solution.
You better just attack. I just attack it. It's like, I don't like putting things off and procrastinating because the minute you just do that, it gets worse and your health gets worse and you get frustrated. So you just attack it. What's the worst it can say is no.
Right.
Or the worst you can say is, or you can hear is not what you really want to hear, but you just move along. Just keep moving along.
And because if somebody is going to react poorly, they're going to react poorly today or Friday. So you may as well do it.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Yeah. Get it done. Move on.
Okay. And how about what's ahead for you, Judi, and your firm and your career over the next couple of years? Crystal ball, what are you thinking?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, boy. That's a good question. In the next couple of years, personally, I would love to have an office manager on here that takes care of the management side of things, and that I think that would help a lot. And that's just something that I'm dealing with right now and trying to figure out how that might alleviate a lot of concerns or issues that I have. And I want to open more of myself and my doors for focusing on certain other projects. One thing personally that I have in the works and are working towards is an eco glamping retreat, a luxury glamping retreat. And we're off the grid, total sustainability. It's it's all solar, water, it comes from the well. It's in a nature nature preserve. And people can come with their families, hold retreats there. Since I love hospitality, I want it to be totally 4-star, 5-star. It'll be exciting. So it'll be really fun, and I want to be part of that, meaning part owner, and I want to help work on this property.
Isn't that
so
something?
I really am it's gonna happen. I know I
So
can feel
is that in the stage
happen,
right now of dream and vision, or is it in the stage like we've got a piece of property picked out and we've started to talk to people about, putting together resources?
Property and resources, and holding some retreats right now with some of my girlfriends that are life coaches and Reiki masters and a lot of those kind of things. Yoga. I'm going to get my yoga certification because I love yoga enough. And I'm also I'm an avid horse rider, and that's my out. Like anybody has a sport, well, mine is my horses, and they take away all my pain every day. So they're awesome. But So
and
getting
this retreat, this location will be in Idaho.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll have it'll be a equine therapy as well. So I think it'll be really exciting, really fun. But it'll be neat. That's kind of what I want to do.
So it's like a camp for grown-ups, right? It's like a camp for grown-ups that want to connect with nature, and they want to know that everything there has been designed green and sustainable, and it's where they're going to renew and refresh and regather themselves.
Having classes, retreats, workshops, just going and enjoying and
Love
nature
it.
walks. and all that. Yeah, pretty cool.
Oh, that
So anyway,
sounds
there's
awesome.
that kind of thing. But other than that, in the office, I have a bucket list of designing a resort and a spa. I would love to do more of that, and an international project would be lovely. I'd love to do something in Costa Rica. Just
Very nice.
I know every day I kind of wake up and go, oh, what else? I don't know, what else? It's like I've got to stop. So, but,
I love it.
yeah,
It doesn't happen if
yeah.
you don't dream about it. I absolutely know that.
You have to do that and be careful. And I highly recommend everybody make themselves a vision wall. Everybody can have a vision board, but mine's a wall. So you just dream big, and why not? And just kind of move things around and play with it and have fun. And pretty soon you're going to look back on it and go, oh my gosh, I just did that.
That's right. Isn't that something?
So
I love that.
Don't forget. Do that.
I love that. That's terrific. Yeah. Well, this has been really fun. I really appreciate you shared a lot of great information. Thank you, Judi.
Oh, thank you. I love sharing, and I love my colleagues here in town and elsewhere, and anybody who asks me questions, I kind of get excited about. So, otherwise, if you're not learning and sharing, you're not growing and living. That's what I say.
Very nice. So do you mind share your website information and how people can find out more about you?
Sure. Website information is kiefferdesignGroup.com, and it's spelled Kieffer.
Terrific.
Well, yeah.
That is awesome. I hope that Lenora was scribbling down. And Lenora, if you're listening and you weren't, I'll make a list and put it in the things I learned from Judi. So thank you so much, Judi. Have a great day.
Thank you. I really want to share a lot of success and well wishes to everybody out there. And don't give up and keep trudging along and thrive. Don't just survive.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks.
All right. Have a good day.
My great thanks to the featured sponsor of our podcast, Kravet Inc. Of all the terrific things about Kravet, do you know about CuratedKravet.com? I know you've heard me tell you all about it for this last year and a half, but have you taken a minute to really go and look and check out CuratedKravet.com yet? You have to see this collection of the most unique, high-quality finished products for the home. The collection includes furniture, lighting, bedding, rugs, accessories, and more. It is so comprehensive. It features customized designs as well as unique hand-picked pieces from the global design market. CuratedKravet.com is available exclusively to the trade. That's right. No direct consumer purchasing. They have your back at Kravet Inc. And have you checked out the innovative ready-to-ship upholstery program? This is groundbreaking in our industry. Where else can you find someone that delivers custom quality furniture fast? I'll tell you where else. Nowhere else. You see, it's the combination custom quality and fast. That is at CuratedKravet.com. You can shop the site by product category, by stylized product stories, and through the curated rooms designed by the industry tastemakers. At CuratedKravet.com, they are committed to making your job more efficient by providing unmatched customer service coupled with an exceptional product offering. Kravet Inc. stands firm in their mission to serve the interior design trade at the very highest level. And the last and one of the most fabulous features is the process is so simple. That's right. Design, click, delivered. Easy as that. One last thing. Kravet Inc. has a thank you to you as a listener of the podcast. If you are on the site and you are ready to make a purchase, any one purchase, you can get 10% off as their thanks to you. Enter the code CKPodcast at checkout for 10% off any one purchase. Well, I do thank them very much, and I really do hope that you will take a moment to see how CuratedKravet.com can help you run your business more efficiently. I said that was a fun conversation, and at one point, Judi specifically said, I love sharing. And isn't that just so clear? She came today prepared with lists of things that she uses and she employs in order to run her business well. And she just couldn't wait to share them all with you so that you could duplicate the success that she has. A couple of the more significant things that she shared was, I like the part of the conversation about cold calling. So the number one thing that she said about cold calling is just don't be afraid to do it. And I 100% agree with that. Just don't be afraid to do it. I understand that there are some of us that struggle with this, and that I don't know what happens in your brain, and I have compassion for it. I'm not minimizing it. But I would love for you to just get to point B. So point A is picking up the phone or sending the email, right? But point B is, hey, that sounds like a great idea. Maybe we should set up a meeting. You don't get to point B without going to point A. And sometimes point B is, thanks, I'm not interested. And whatever. Move on. This is not somebody that you're inviting to be a friend for life. You don't have to take it personally, but do it. Do your cold calling. If you need to build your interior design firm, if you are starting out and you don't have a full pipeline, don't be afraid to cold call. And here's the trick to cold calling, right? The trick is to identify the struggle that your potential client is experiencing. This is exactly what Judi said. She said, think about the builder, the architect, the parts of the project that they are responsible for and they're accountable for, but are hard for them to execute. Describe how you can handle that part of the project for them. And I will add to this that when you do this, you have to do it quick. You have to get in there right away and let them know you know exactly what the hard part is and you have the exact answer for handling it for them, okay? And then I would also tack on to that is that you have to use language when you describe your solution, how you are the solution, that conjures up the vision for them, that they can fully experience and vision what it would be like if they had you taking care of that part of the project for them, right? So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say someone says to you, oh, you should go get a massage. And you say, well, what is that about? I'm not sure if I want one. And they say, well, you walk in a small room, you take off your clothes, a stranger enters the room, and that stranger starts rubbing you from head to foot. It's really relaxing. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound so good to me. Okay, now, or somebody who's trying to sell you a massage might say, oh my goodness, you have to have one. Just imagine it, a cozy room. It's dimly lit, it's warm, and soft music is playing. You're lying comfortably on a heated padded table, and then a wellness professional quietly taps on the door, and you say, come in. And they walk in, and they begin with long, relaxing strokes, working out all of your aches and pains. The aroma of a lavender-scented oil fills the room and your senses. 1 hour passes by so quickly that you will not want to wait to sign up for your next session. Which one are you signing up for? They're both exactly true, aren't they? So when you think about the situations that your potential clients face and the things that are difficult for them with interior design, whether it's commercial or residential, yes, sure. Put it out in bullet point languages, the cold hard facts, what their problems are and how you'll solve them. But when it comes time to expressing it, you got to sell it. All right. And how you sell it is making them feel it and see it. All righty. So now Judi also shared that when she designs for hospitality, for restaurants, country clubs, and hotels, yes, she and her team want to create beautiful spaces. If you remember, Judi said that she likes to create spaces that relax people or inspire people, that creates a shift in their mindset as soon as they enter that space. So you can understand that. I'm sure many of you have the exact same goal. But she said to not forget the goal of your client, especially in hospitality. So that goal is return on investment. If we expect these hospitality spaces, these owners of these hospitality spaces to invest, big bucks in interior design for these spaces, yeah, they want their clients to feel terrific too when they enter them, but they want their clients to spend more money in them. They want their clients to refer their friends to come back to them. They want their clients to come back themselves. And they only do that if it works well in addition to being designed beautifully. So again, think of yourself as a consumer. What are you looking for in a space? What makes you come back? What makes you refer? And keep these things in mind when you design for hospitality spaces, okay? She literally said you've got to look at it from the return on investment of the person hiring you, and that will give you more success, create more referrals for you in that field. Okay. Judi mentioned a ton of resources for project management, employee management, for green design. Head over to www.windowworks-nj.com/JudiK. That's JUDIK for your free PDF of the things I learned from Judi Kieffer. All right. Don't forget it's there. She had tons of books that she listed, organizations for green design, and I was scribbling like crazy, and you can find it all at www.windowworks-nj.com/JudiK. The things I learned from Judi Kieffer. All righty. Both of our events are well underway. Planning is well underway. The first one is for Monday, May 15th, 2017. This is the hands-on workshop, the Lunch and Learn at WindowWorks in Livingston, New Jersey at our showroom. This is the Domus Studio workshop. Sarah Danielli, the CEO of Domus Studio, is coming in from Canada to lead this for us. If you are anywhere in the local area and you can get to this workshop and you do not have a system for organizing your projects, then please go out of your way and come to this workshop. If you do not have MyDoma, don't worry. There's a free trial available for you to use throughout the workshop. So that there's no obligation. But it is important that your business part is well run, and MyDoma is an excellent platform to helping you do that. All right. So please, see if you can make it for that. The second event is at Ethan Allen in New York City, and this event is on Wednesday, May 17th, 2017. It starts at 6:30. This event is with Barbara Viteri, the creator of Designer Liberty, and this event is open to the trade and the public. So bring your friends, any of your mom, your sisters, your whoever are interested in the celebrity interior designers, the designer celebrities, right? So the first one we have is Cheryl Eisen. She is from $1 Million Listing. We also have Manuela Moriera. She is the potential. She's our rising star interior designer from Ethan Allen. And we also have Mikkel Welch, and he has his list of cred includes HGTV Design Star. He is the set designer for Harry Connick Jr. show. He worked on the Steve Harvey show. So it's going to be a ton of fun, I'm sure of it. So both events will be listed in our email newsletter with the links in that email newsletter to RSVP. If you are not yet on our newsletter list, it's simple as pie, really. Just take your phone out and text this number, 444-999. In the field, enter Design Biz. DESIGNBIZ. Okay, so just pull your phone out, 444-999, the word Design Biz. It takes you to one more place. You put your email in and bam, you are on our email list. It really is very simple. And of course, you know that each week we tell you which episodes are up and what the previous week's episodes were, and of course all the events that are happening, just like these two. These two events are both free, absolutely free. You just have to RSVP because space is going to be capped at a certain number for both events. And so don't miss out. All right. Alrighty, today was a ton of resources for new designers, for hospitality designers, for eco-friendly designers. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love it if you would leave a review on iTunes. I have to say, I always tell you guys, you're reaching out to me on Instagram, on Facebook, and just giving me the most insanely terrific compliments, and I adore and love them. But if you take them and copy and paste them to iTunes, I'd adore it and love it even more. This is where the show gets its credibility. This is where the show gets searched. This is where I send potential sponsors for, the feedback that you guys are sharing so they understand how the show is resonating with you. And I really just can't say enough how valuable an iTunes review is to the show. And I would be so grateful if you would put yours there. All right. Last thing I want to say, you remember that I told you that Kelsey Gross of Farmer's Daughter Interiors, that is like the biggest tongue twister for me. I don't know what that is, but I told you that she is going to guest blog on our To the Trade blog at our Window Works website. And, you know, she is, if you have not heard her episode, go back and listen to her episode. She is a designer that is just about to celebrate her 1-year anniversary in business. And she has already been featured in Apartment Therapy. She has already won the Design Bloggers Conference Best New Design Blog. And she has already been named by Barbara Viteri as a potential. So, and that's in addition to the amazing, talented work that she's created. So there's a lot happening with this new designer, and she is happy and willing to share with you the way she has created this. So if you have a particular question that you would like addressed by Kelsey, please email that question to questions@windowworksnj.com. Okay? questions@windowworksnj.com. And I will be sure to forward them to Kelsey, and we will. This is for you newbies out there. Okay. So I would say anybody in business, definitely 1 to 3 years, and even probably 5. So, don't overlook this valuable resource. Somebody in real time creating a heck of a business right before our very eyes. Okay? All righty. That's our show for today. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me, spending your time with me. Have an excellent day. Thank you for joining me again today for another episode of A Well-Designed Business. This podcast is a production of Window Works in Livingston, New Jersey, your trade resource for custom window treatments and awnings. Learn more about Window Works at www.windowworks-nj.com. All of our music is original music by Room 2 Productions. Please contact us if you want to learn more about original music for your business or your events.